Good evening, Dr. Yapi, and everyone joining us tonight. Tonight we'll be discussing benchmarking for performance. Our new Logix IQ makes benchmarking for ultimate performance in your herd so easy. What do we need, though, to do benchmarking? Our first criteria is to determine your key performance indicators. Each farm has their own performance indicators that will make sure or determine your success as a farmer and as a herd. The aim here is to understand your strengths and your challenges on your farm and as a herd, and essentially to be more economical. My starting point normally is to see what was your last test, what is your current milk production, your current butter, fat, protein, lactose, somatics. Then we start comparing in our herd. How have we performed this month compared to the average of the year? To make our circle a little bit bigger, we then start comparing to our benchmark group, which is a group that you've set up, and normally it would be herds that have the same breed as you, and also the same management systems such as pastures or TMR. When we've reached this target goal, we can then start looking to try and fall in the top 10% of the herds in our group. This is why we publish our top herd, milk production, butter, fat, protein, lactose, somatics, so that you can see how close you are to the ultimate goal, to be the top herd in your benchmark group. At any stage, though, in the Logix IQ report, we make it easy for you to do benchmarking. We have your group average over here for the last year, as well as how you've changed in the last 42 days. So you're benchmarking against yourself to make sure that every month we just aim to be better and better than we were the last month. We also constantly have our breed average as a benchmark there, as well as the top herds benchmark. Key performance indicators are certain criteria that you set up as a farm and a herd to compare against your current performance and to make sure that you're on track for success in the future. These three key performance indicators are most highly used. It's firstly our somatic health cell count. Here we look at our benchmark of 75% of our herd under 200,000, 65% under 100,000 somatic cell counts to ensure less health problems, lower medicinal costs, and shorten the time that the veterinarian needs to spend on your farm. The second one is reproductive performance. Better intercalving period to make sure that we have more regularly, our cows calve more regularly, better straws per conception, and ultimately faster genetic progress. Performance and nutrition are our current performances, so they give us an indication of our feed efficiency, help us to lower our input costs with higher economic outputs and a better value for our product in the end. Somatic cell count benchmarking. With Logix IQ, we are able to see on a monthly basis what is our somatics in our herd. Are we improving? Are there things that we need to change in our management practice to make sure that our cows are healthier? Not only can we benchmark our somatics in our herd, but we can also benchmark our first lactations with our second lactations, with our third lactations. We can see what percentage of our herd are our chronic cases, how many cases are recurring every month, and how many are just new cases that might have just been a slight change that has just happened in the last month. How somatics affects the health of our herd, our milk yield, also the quality of our milk and shelf life, and in the long run it will affect our genetic progress. It is important to manage our somatic cell counts over time. more consistent our somatic cell count, the better for our overall health of the herd. So it's important to know what's our somatic cell counts been over the lifetime of our cows and also over the last year. So we can see when are our cows stressing, when do we have more higher somatics, is it an environmental thing? We can benchmark against our other farmers in our area to also see what has the environmental effect been on somatics, or is it just a management effect that we can monitor and improve in our own herd. Production values gives us an indication of where we currently are. Are we feeding our animals to their potential? Is the last batch of feed that we've received up to standard? So we compare weekly on a weekly basis. Our milk production, here you'll see green indicates in the last week we've had an increase in milk production. We also have the benchmark group in the black dotted line there, as well as the median of your top group. So you can constantly benchmark yourself. To benchmark yourself, we check our butterfat percentage, milk urea nitrogen, somatics, protein, lactose. We compare our last test with our current test to constantly see, are the cows stressing, are they in a better energy balance. Once again, you'll see green indicates that our MUN has come down. However, we see with red that our protein percentage has also decreased unfavorably. And you can benchmark yourself at any stage against the benchmark group as well as the top herd. It's also nice to see your milk production over your last 3 years. Yeah, we'll see we have 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. It's very interesting for me. You can always see how COVID affected the dairy herds. There's always a little bit of a dip over COVID period when we all had to go into lockdown. So it's nice to see the trend over the last 3 years to see where you've improved, what practices have made a difference in your herd. And once again, you can benchmark yourself against the top herd over there. Reproductive performance is important. It makes sure that we have longevity in our herd. So we look at our different lactations. We see what is the straws, each one's straws per conception. Also compare it to the top herd to make sure that we are on par. We can also see which group is maybe having difficulties, maybe with energy, with the nutritional values. Yeah, so we can benchmark them with each other. We can benchmark them with their total herd, as well as the top 10% of your benchmark group. It's important also to know when are our cows ready for to be inseminated. What is the weight of our herd? Are they in a positive or a negative energy balance? Are they picking up weight? So yeah, so that's why we constantly comparing also your first, second, and third lactations, their weights, their average weights over the lactation, but as well as how many animals are losing weight, how many are picking up weight, what's the percentages, to make sure that if we're going to inseminate, we're doing it at the right time with the best semen possible and with the best outcome possible. Benchmarking in the herd. How am I doing? It is important each cow has potential, and it's important to make sure that her potential is still in line with the average of your herd. So after every lactation, we compare how that each cow has done in her lactation compared to the average of the herd. We compare this on a 305-day average so that it's easy to compare them with each other. For example, in this herd, there's 299 first lactations. Average 305-day milk production was 10,722. This current cow ended her lactation off with 10,901, so she's better than the average. She has a better butterfat, better protein. Unfortunately, she has worse somatic cell count, so something we need to monitor. 3 out of her 7 tests, she had high somatic cell count, which is not favorable, but she did have a higher persistency than the group. So my conclusion, today is a chance to do your best, because today's hard work is tomorrow's benchmark. We always strive to be better than we were yesterday. Logix IQ Dairy. Your story starts here. Have a lovely evening.